Hey, Boss. Hey, how are you today? Okay, wherever you are, whenever you are, whatever time this is for you, what I want to do is actually take you inside of the Maintain Your Momentum virtual series. Today, I'm going to give you access to 30 minutes of a 90-minute intensive that I did on virtual sessions that you should be hosting right now. So this is an opportunity for you to get inside of Maintain Your Momentum and really take note of some of the types of virtual content that you should be creating to meet the needs of, honestly, people who are online right now waiting for the things, the knowledge, the information, the motivation, the inspiration, the content that you have to give. So hopefully, number one, you enjoy this 30-minute clip of my session on 12 types of virtual sessions that you should be hosting now. It's 30 minutes of a 90-minute session, number one. And then number two, hopefully you have the opportunity to dive into the complete Maintain Your Momentum virtual series, whether you join us live or via the replays over at sistasense.com/MYM. Alrighty, my dear, let's dig in to. Hello, my dears. Welcome back inside the Maintain Your Momentum series. I want to make sure that whether it's a good day or a bad day, through any day, you can make sure that you're finding a way to be strategic and intentional. So hopefully you had the opportunity to dig into the first part of our series. We had some amazing speakers yesterday. Today, essentially what I want to do is lead a session around how you can start to really meet the growing demand of people who are in need of your services, especially during a time when people are going to be online more and in need of more virtual content. So today what we're going to do is actually dig into 4 types of virtual sessions that I want you to keep in mind and consider to begin creating. Okay? But before we get started today, a couple of housekeeping things. Number one, I would love it if you could join our group, firestarters.sistasense.com. That's our community on Facebook, so that you are working on fire starting your business on a consistent basis. And if you're in the group, whether you're new or not, I want you to take this opportunity as you're listening right now to share something that you're doing right now to maintain your momentum. Okay? Even if you just jot it down and then you jump into the group and share it, that's fine. But what I want to be able to do is to spark a motivation conversation for people to be able to see, say, and follow through with focus. This moment in time, I should say, there's so much going on, and we cannot afford to be distracted in this season, especially if you started the year and said, this is going to be my year, this is going to be my winning season. You can't help but look and laugh when you think about all the changes that we have to go through and all the plans that we now have to adjust because of everything that's going on right now. We're in some crazy times. And again, we have to sustain, we have to maintain, and in order to do that, some part of that requires us to really dig in and share what we're working on, okay? So number one, feel free to join the Facebook group, firestarters.sistasense.com. And number two, as you are there, please take a minute to share one thing that you're doing to maintain your momentum. Hopefully you know that the 4 Ps I've been trying to really impress upon you right now is I want you to stay positive, prayerful, productive, and profitable. So what are you doing in any of those 4 areas to maintain your momentum? Feel free to share that with our community. And even here, you know, if at some point you would like to, you can hit *6 and 1 later on in our conversation just to let me know what you think about the series thus far, and of course what you're doing to maintain your momentum as well. So, okay, with that being said, let's dig into the 12 types of virtual sessions that I want you all to consider. And these are essentially things that I've been integrating into my business for pretty much forever. Okay. The first one, I think I said versed instead of first. I think I've got virtual first and combined them together. I do that sometimes. So the versed one is I oftentimes lead clarity calls with clients. That's one type of virtual session that I do. This is especially helpful to those of you who your business is heavily offline, number one. And number two, people aren't going out as much as they used to. And again, we don't know if this is temporary or going to be long term, right? So what are some things that you can do with your client base over the phone, right? How can you integrate clarity calls into your business? Okay, that's the first thing that I want you to consider. And if a lot of your business is, is tactile touch. You've got to be with the people to interact with them. What are some things that you can do without having to touch them, right? And for some of you, or be present in front of them, that might be a little bit challenging to think about, but it's something that you got to figure out and start to streamline into your business, okay? Now, I will say this. I'm going to talk about strictly virtual. But of course, outside of what I talk about today, I would love it if you feel free to share with me what you're doing that might be outside of what I've discussed. Okay. Now, I use freeconferencecall.com to lead my private one-on-one sessions with clients all the time, my clarity calls. And normally what I like to do is I've got like my process set up. And I said to you, I'm going to be sharing with you my step-by-step processes. So step one, someone comes to me and they pay. They pay normally, but when I started, I just using a PayPal button. After that, I started to set up my payment using a platform called Samcart. And you can find out more about Samcart over at sistasense.com/Samcart. So they pay, and then once they pay, they get a PDF that gives them a link to get on my calendar. They get on my calendar, and then we have their call. Bim, bam, boom. 3 steps. They pay, they get on the calendar, then we have their call on the freeconferencecall.com platform. Once the call is done, I always send my clients the recording so they can have it for their reference in the future, right? Pretty much. I'm close to 1,000 calls at this point, which is great. I think I have to do something special for my 1,000th client. But it's a pretty straightforward process. Okay, so thinking about what platform you're going to use and how you're going to put it together. Now, the calendar system I use is a plugin, but oftentimes I'll tell clients that if you want to set up something similar, you can use the Calendly calendar system, or you can use Acuity scheduling. If you want to learn about Acuity, you can go over to sistasense.com/Acuity, ACUITY. Via the Acuity platform, people could actually pay you, schedule the session, get a reminder, and you can do the whole booking process through Acuity. So those are just a few recommendations that I have for you. Interestingly enough, I remember when my son was younger, he had a private tutor for some time, and they used to do clarity calls virtually, face-to-face via Skype. So you're not limited to just the resources that I'm sharing. You can certainly use other platforms as well to have private call virtual sessions with clients, number one. Number two, I also have private webinar sessions because sometimes just simply being over the phone is not enough. So kind of like I mentioned, private tutoring sessions my son did, that face-to-face was important so that, he could see when his tutor wanted him to see her, and she could see his work because he could lift it up. He showed her his notebook and things like that via the video, right, the face-to-face. There are times when I work with clients on my VIP days, and we work together for 3 hours, and we're working on the computer. I'm showing them my screen, they're showing me their screen, and it's very, very interactive. And so when I do my clarity calls, I use free conference call. When I do private one-on-one sessions, I use the very same platform I'm using right now to talk to you all, and it's startmeeting.com. They're very affordable. I've used many different platforms. This is my personal platform of choice. Do you have to use this one? No. Can you try something else? Absolutely. But they've worked. This one has worked for me for a long time. As far as doing sessions, I do both audio and webinar style sessions on Start Meeting. Even though you can do face-to-face video conferencing, honestly, I don't do that on this platform. A lot of times when I do face-to-face, it's via Zoom and or Skype. So those are a few other platforms to consider. So again, for clarity calls, I use free conference call. For webinar sessions, I use Start Meeting, face-to-face, Zoom, and or Skype. Okay? So those are the first two: private clarity call sessions, private webinar sessions. Number 3 on my list are live stream sessions. Okay? So I do live stream sessions so that I can consistently keep my existing customer base in the loop and to extend my audience and attract new people to me. Live streams are great because you can interact real time. You can, again, engage your existing audience. They share out your live. You get more people to follow you. You can sell your products and services. It's a win-win-win-win-win kind of a situation, right? So a couple of things that I want you to consider when it comes to live streams. Number one, start with just what if you've never done live stream before, don't overwhelm yourself. Just start with one platform, hit record, get used to it, grow from there. I started with Periscope, and then I started to expand into different platforms. You can start with Instagram or Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Pretty much every platform has some degree of live that you can do. You can even, well, you have to, I think you have to go through an application process. I know I had to for LinkedIn to do lives on LinkedIn, but that's another platform as well. So, keep it simple. A easy one to start with is like an Instagram live or a Facebook live, and to get used to it, right? So number one, don't try to start with all of them at once. Start with one. Number two, if you want to do multiple ones, keep it seriously simple. We all have like maybe 5 or 6 mobile devices in our home. I started off on live Periscope on my iPad. I also have my phone, and then I have my old phone, and then my kid has a phone. Everybody has a phone, right? So when I started to do multiple platforms, I would go live on my laptop on Facebook. Then I had my phone, and I was doing Instagram and Facebook and Periscope on 3 devices. And you'll probably notice sometimes you'll see other people do this. Like literally they just put 3 devices around them and they're simultaneously talking. So they may start on Facebook and they're like, hold on a second, let me get my Instagrammers loaded up. Hold on, let me get Periscope, and then work that way if you want to add on more platforms. Over time, now I'm a little bit more sophisticated with this live streaming thing than I used to be. So now I use a platform called Restream so that I can simultaneously broadcast on all of my platforms: Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. Instagram does not allow for that kind of multi-broadcasting, so I still have to do Instagram on a separate device, but for the most part, the rest of them, I'm simultaneously broadcasting. Do not recommend you do that from the beginning if you are not tech savvy. If you are tech savvy, go for it. If you're easily overwhelmed, you're a little bit afraid of live, you don't quite know where to start with one platform. Ease your way into it, okay? Don't go into the deep end if you don't know how to swim. Just the way, that's the best way for me to put it, right? Now, the next thing that I can say about lives is this. If you have specific questions outside of what I'm talking about today, feel free to email me independently, sizzlesense@gmail.com. Let me know where you struggle with lives, where you feel like you would need more support, clarity, and direction, and I can help you there, number one. Number two, I do have something called the Live Stream Clarity Kit over at sizzlesense.com/LSCK. LSCK for Live Stream Clarity Kit. This is a private session that you would be doing with me, and we will do several things. Number one, we will talk about your content creation on virtual platforms. I'll help you figure out some ideas as well as help you get started and give you more deeper guidance around things that you can do to work on your live streams. I will even send you a live stream kit, like a tripod combination kit, so I'll ship it out to you so that you can have that to work with as well. So if you're looking to get started and you need some assistance there, getting you started with the live stream clarity kit that you can find again at sizzlesense.com/LSCK. Now, believe it or not, in preparation for today, I actually did a live stream where I shared 3 of the 12 virtual topics that I'm talking about with you guys today. And one of the things I talked about was live streaming, and I shared some different types of ways that you can get paid with free lives. So you can do lives for free and just teach, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, or you can motivate and encourage others, and that's wonderful. As an entrepreneur, there should be some way for you to potentially profit from those lives. Some of the things that I recommend is either as you're teaching, you're letting people know what products or services that you have they can purchase, or other types of lives that sometimes I'll do. I'll talk about a particular product and then recommend the product as an affiliate. Sometimes it's a physical product like a book, and I'll say, hey, here's my link to go and get that book through me as an affiliate. Or I'll say, here's a program, like I mentioned to you that when it comes to my clarity call sessions, people pay me via SamCart. So, a lot of times I'll do trainings. I'll teach people how to use the SamCart platform, and then I'll say, hey, if you want to go over to sizzlesense.com/SamCart, and you can sign up through me, and I generate revenue for those people who sign up through my affiliate link, right? It's very simple. So you can teach people absolutely free using live stream platforms, and in doing so, you can either directly sell your offers, you can sell affiliate offers, or another thing is just to simply promote those free offers that you have, like different lead magnets that you have, so that you are just using the live stream platform to build your list and your visibility. And as you build your list and launch products, then you can have more people to sell those products to via email. So on the live that I did today, to kind of get people excited about this session today, I mentioned that I have a free training. It's called Launch with Leads, to help people with list building, landing pages, and lead magnets. It's over at sizzlesense.com/LWL. It's a free 7-day challenge, right? So you can do live streams, share your freebies, build your list, so that when you are launching, you can launch to leads. You can launch to customers versus crickets, right? That's basically the concept of Launch with Leads. So there are a lot of different ways that you can monetize your live streams, but those are 3 that I actually shared via the live stream that I created to get people aware of and excited about the Maintain Your Momentum series, specifically this training that we are doing today. So 1, 2, 3, clarity calls, webinar sessions, live streams. Number 4 is telesummits. So right now, this Maintain Your Momentum virtual training week-long series honestly is a telesummit series. It's something that you guys can listen to over the phone, or via the Start Meeting platform, the virtual platform. It's a teleseries, so it's myself and other speakers, and over the course of several days, we're all calling in, listening in, and speaking, teaching, supporting. This is something that you can do too, right? Every year I do what's called my Back to Business virtual conference experience, and I'm going to talk about virtual conferences a little bit later today. But before I was doing virtual conferences, I started off with just doing telesummits. They're simpler because they're just audio-based. There's not much technology fuss that needs to go into it other than you calling in and your people calling in and you hitting the record button. That's pretty much as complex as it needs to be, right? So I actually started, when I started doing virtual experiences with multiple speakers, I started with audios before I was doing any type of video webinar conferencing. that helped me get my feet wet, get more experience, and it also just made it easy for my speakers. So when I decided, because of the urgency of all that was going on right now, to do the Maintain Your Momentum series, it literally took me a day to put this together. And one of the reasons why I decided to do audio versus doing video is because I wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to call in, number one. I wanted to allow as many people as possible to call in, number two. And number three, I didn't want my speakers to have to worry about, oh, do I need presentations? I don't have time to do that. I got to get all this stuff together. Literally, all they have to do is call in, speak, teach from their expertise and from their heart, right? Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And so one of the things that I want you to do is I want you to feel inspired to consider if putting together a telesummit series is something that you would like to do. And I'm going to walk you through some recommendations as far as setup is concerned. But before I go there, I'm going to just touch on number 5, which is the virtual conferences. So for me, the big difference between the telesummit and the virtual conference is that for me, when I do telesummits, it's strictly audio-based. People call in, they listen, versus virtual conferences like my Back to Business. A lot of that is video-based, webinar style. While I focus on presentation slides, there are people who do virtual conferences where you can actually see the speakers and or presentations. I do a combination of slides and audio. So they're a little bit more sophisticated than a telesummit is concerned. When I started doing telesummits, honestly, I was doing them on the free conference call platform. Then I got sophisticated. I started investing into the platforms like GoToWebinar, and now I completely, exclusively use the startmeeting.com platform. It's been working for me for many years, and I'm just committed to continuing to work with it until I perhaps find something maybe that I like better. I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet, right? So I want you to think about, as far as 4 and 5 is concerned, would you want to do something like a summit or a conference that's virtual? And consider right now, this is one of the best times to dive into something like that because, number one, a lot of offline events are being canceled. Number two, a lot of people are staying home. So number three, this is your opportunity to take advantage of being able to accommodate people, being able to still have opportunities to speak and or create opportunities for people to speak, especially at a time like this. Right? So here are a couple of things to consider when it comes to prepping and producing something like a virtual summit versus a virtual conference, okay? First thing to consider is, do you want to have something that is live or pre-recorded? So for me, live is the way to go. I just love doing live sessions. But I've actually worked with a lot of clients where I helped them develop experiences where they were pre-recorded. I had one of my clients, Renee, several years ago. She's a nutritionist. She had several speakers come on. She pre-recorded the sessions. Then she had someone do like an audio backdrop, so they had some music in the back of all the sessions, so she got that done. And then what I did was actually automated the series so that people, when they signed up, every day for several days, they would get an email with the session for that day. So it wasn't live at all. It was pre-recorded. Now, for some people, it's a little bit easier to do pre-recorded, right? So they can kind of get all their speakers, record those sessions independently, and then just put that virtual experience on autopilot, right? And for other people like myself, live is easier, right? You just kind of say, here's what I'm doing. People register, they pay, and then you make it happen. I call that an RTE, a real-time experience. Really, it's up to you whether you feel comfortable being able to set something up and navigate it live, or if you would prefer to do something pre-recorded, right? That's number one. Number two, what tools are you going to use? Like I mentioned before, when I started to do my virtual conferences and summits via I did my virtual summits over the phone via free conference call. And then now I exclusively use Start Meeting to do my virtual conferences, right? So what tools are you going to use? Maybe these or others. I've got a lot of ladies in my circle who swear by the Zoom platform. That's all they use. I mean, and there are a ton of them, like Webinar Jam. There are GoToWebinar. There are a ton of GoToMeeting. There are a ton of different ones out there, okay? So what tools are you going to use? Those are a few of them that I consider. Another thing to consider is, when and how long. Like, when are you going to do your series date-wise? How long is it going to be as far as how long each session is going to be and how many days it's going to be? I've done these, right now this one is the Maintain Your Momentum series is week long, right? I've done multi-day experiences like virtual experiences before. Sometimes I'll just do one day, right? I've done 12-hour set, like all day, 12 speakers, 12 hours from, noon to night kind of a thing. It depends on what you want to do. For me, normally when I do these sessions, I host them as 60-minute sessions. So everybody has 60 minutes. But I've been a part of virtual summits and conferences where speakers had 20 to 30 minutes, right? So they don't have to be 60 minutes. They can be shorter. And then keep in mind, you don't have to do experiences where you've got like 10, 20, 30, 40 speakers. You can do these experiences where maybe it's just 3 or 4 people, or 2 to 3 people. It doesn't have to be a large amount. And if you did, so say for example, somewhere between 3 to 5 people, you could have longer sessions. Maybe you do 3 people and each of you have 90 minutes each, right? Really, it's flexible as far as what you do and how long your sessions are, whether you want to just do one day and just kind of knock out everything or you want to do a multiple day experience, okay? Now, number one, as we're going through these, if you guys ever feel like you have questions, feel free to hit *6 and 1. And of course, those of you who are listening to the replays, you can always go over to our Facebook group, firestarters.sistasense.com, to let me know if you have any questions, as well as emailing sistasense@gmail.com. And if you're interested in putting together live streams, summits, virtual conferences, as I mentioned before, you can always invest in the live stream content clarity kit over at sistasense.com/LSCK. We don't have to exclusively talk about live streams. We can use that to talk about other types of virtual content that you want to create. I also do have this really great training it's kind of one of my best trainings. It's called Pro Webinars, and in that I walk you through the process and actually show you in more detail how to put together webinars for profit or promotion, either by yourself or with a group, and you can learn more about that over at
So, are you ready for more? I want you to be able to explore the different types of virtual sessions that you can do. Again, this is a 30-minute clip of one of the sessions as part of Maintain Your Momentum. This is 30 minutes of a 90-minute training that I hosted on helping you learn how to host more virtual sessions. And it's honestly one of many. So we've got some amazing speakers as part of the Maintain Your Momentum series. My goal is to support you by calling on the leaders, game changers, innovators, experts, entrepreneurs that I know who are genuinely, truly invested in helping you learn how to create on-demand products, learn how to target actual buyers, learn how to set up and sell your business online, learn how to bulletproof, recession-proof your business. So regardless of time, anytime, good or bad, you are able to not only sustain, but thrive, excel, scale your business. So with clarity, with confidence, with strategy and direction, myself and some other amazing women entrepreneurs are here to help you get clear about your next best small business step. So make sure that you go over to sistasense.com/MYM so that you can really fully absorb and get instant access to, number one, the current Maintain Your Momentum series, The number 2, the video series of Maintain Your Momentum. And number 3, if you also have the opportunity to join us live, nothing like it. And the best part of all. So, alrighty, my dear, I'll see you over there on sistasense.com/MYM for Maintain Your Momentum. If you have any questions or any challenges with respect to registration, make sure that you either email me, sistasense@gmail.com, or as you're on the sistasense.com website, you can always click the gray tab on the right and send me a voice message. All right, till then, take care.